the way it feels, I mean, it feels like New Year's Day, you know? It feels like being born. It feels like coming out of the womb, you know? It's like you're in there and it's comfortable and it's safe, and now you're out, you're born, the lights are on, it's bright, you got chaos, people looking at you, people talking at you, and just feels good to have it happen.
Jim Harbaugh's so freaking weird. What a weird way to describe training camp. That's one man's opinion. It's about coming out of the womb and being reborn. It sounds like a lot of fun. Let's see what a two-time Super Bowl champion and co-host of Speak on FS1, Shady McCoy, has to say. Did camp feel like that for you, Shady? Did it feel a little different for you?
Yeah, it didn't feel like birth to me. I mean, camp is like sweaty, it's hot, you got guys hitting you. I don't think nobody really enjoys camp.
Yeah.
Right? I think you enjoy just being back with the friends and the teammates, but not like that, like the way he described.
Well, there's no footage, thank God. So you're saying it's a little bit more like what happened to Mekhi Becton, who threw up 10 times at Eagles camp yesterday.
Hey, listen, man, Philadelphia, we work. I don't know what they're doing with the Jets, you know what I'm saying? But over in Philadelphia, we gonna work.
Well,
he's a hell of a player, though.
People are saying that he's out of shape. Others are pointing, to the fact that Philadelphia is unbearable as far as heat's concerned. Is it really that bad?
He might just be out of shape. I think that's been his thing, his knock. He's been like banged up a little bit, and he's been out of shape. But I think that he'll do great there, though. His line coach, Jeff Stoutland, is really, really good, super competitive. So he'll have some fun there. I mean, what's wrong with a little throw up, a little sweat? That's part of the game.
It's true. LeSean, you're such a joy to have. You have the best energy. I'm watching you on Speak. You're always ripping up papers and throwing them everywhere. How has your off season been? Are you excited about 2024?
Oh, I'm excited. Me and Deshaun, we partnered up with our podcast, 2510, so that's doing very, very well. I'm just excited, man. New year, like football's around the corner. We're back in camp that fast. It's a lot of things I'm waiting to see, man, like the Eagles, what they're going to look like this year. With Jalen Hurts. I also think about like the Chiefs. Will they three-peat? Like, there's so many different things to worry about and think about. I'm so excited.
Well, let's start with Saquon and those Eagles, right? He made his debut at training camp this week. Sounds like you're excited. There's a lot of footage of him catching passes, Shady. Is he enough to fix the issues the offense had last year?
I don't know if he's the answer for that. I think our issues last year was communication, turnovers, just not playing Eagle football. We had a really good running back with DeAndre Swift last year, but I do think Saquon elevates the offense even more, catching the ball, running the ball, the big play capability that he has. Now we have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, and then you got Saquon Barkley. I know you said Joe's coming on later. I was with him in Buffalo, so I really want to know what the hell you were thinking about giving your best player to your rival. I mean, we're excited.
I don't know. He said he wouldn't come up with the number. I don't know. What was he? You know him. What was he thinking?
Fantasy football has to be. If everybody in your family, right, is telling you, hey, take a quarterback because your quarterback's not good enough, why would you get rid of the running back? You know what it is right now in this league? It's really pissing me off is that we only focus on the quarterback. So, for example, like CeeDee Lamb is out, right? He's trying to get a new contract. And if you think Justin Jefferson's better than him, it's pretty close. But let's say JJ is better, right? But they're both like elite. So he should be able to jump over the market and set the market up. For example, guy like Trevor Lawrence, who's really not that good, how the hell does he set the market up? You get what I'm saying? So it's like they play with the quarterbacks. We live in a real world where Daniel Jones is a starting quarterback and he's making like, $80 million or something like that? Like, how does that even happen? And then your best player is Saquon, you get rid of him. We got to just turn the narrative with the quarterbacks thing because it's getting out of hand.
It seems like the thought would be just scarcity, right? Replacing a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence is not as easy as it is to maybe replace a running back and still get great production. Is Devin Singletary not going to, as far as value is concerned, what they're paying him, that's what they look at, right? And we've seen a lot of running backs step up and do really well on short notice even.
That's true. That is true, but that's the narrative they create. For example, if we look at Minshew's numbers, Gardner Minshew, right, the quarterback that's played for the Jaguars, we look at his numbers, and we look at Trevor Lawrence, whose numbers do you think would be better?
You think Minshew, there's not a big difference between Minshew and Trevor Lawrence?
Not really. When you get a second, just check it out. Like, you just, you went shopping, you get your nails done, just, get your feet done, just check it out. Just check the numbers out because, like, Minshew's probably making, I think, like $12 to $15 million, and then Trevor's making like what 200-something million. If you really look at the production, it's not that big of a difference.
I mean, Minshew's the backup to Aiden O'Connell in Vegas right now. Like, I don't. Trevor Lawrence is a bona fide. I can't really understand the differences aren't there for you. I'm not saying there's not a difference between Devin Singletary and Saquon. There is, but when it comes to matching up money between those two, and you look at, I mean, Singletary I'm sure you have good things to say about him.
I played
he had a great year in Houston.
He's really good. I played with him in Buffalo. What I'm saying is that we only look at that. We only look at other positions like that, right? Let's compare the numbers. Is it a big drop off?
Yeah.
We don't do the same with quarterbacks. For example, like I just gave you the example with the wide receivers with CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, where they're really, really close, and it should be no question that the Cowboys should pay him at the top of the market because he's that good. Or you look at, like, we asked the questions about if we should pay Jordan Love the new market. He should be the highest paid, right? He had one good year, really, really good, big upside, but he only had one good year. You look at guys like who else? Looking for a contract. Trevor Lawrence. Tua. Tua's good, right? But, like, the argument is every time a guy is really, really good, they get paid at the top of the market at the quarterback. So my thing is, why even have the elites of the elites and the best of the best if you can be really, really good and get elite money? Where in running backs, you can be good but don't get elite money. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have an issue with. That's all I'm saying.
Is the quarterback position the most important position?
On most teams, yes. On most teams, yes.
Which teams? And so, like, the San Franciscos of the world, you're saying it's not?
No, I mean,
and
no.
New York.
Obviously, New York. I just think, like, if I had to pick out of Daniel Jones and Saquon, why would I pick Daniel Jones? I mean, like, what tells me I should make him our future quarterback, right? Only thing I would say is maybe because Brian Daboll is really, really that good. But other than that, like, Daniel Jones. Come on.
We're going to move on from this. I have too many things to talk to you about. It's a good. I very much understand the frustration. I always want running backs to get paid and all of that. How does this change? How can you change? You're on Speak. You're on FS1. How can you change the way the markit's viewed? That's what has to happen.
What I've been talking about is it's like we only focus on a quarterback. So, like, it's not just all running backs. It's like other positions, like like the wide receivers, like certain defensive players. Like, we only focus on the quarterbacks. And we live in a world where, like, a guy like, okay, Baker Mayfield, right? He was okay. He got a $100 million contract. You get what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like the market is the market, and we just, if a player is good, we just automatically jump him over everybody. And I don't agree with that because other positions we don't do that with.
Yeah, and we also write off running backs as far as longevity, durability, making that investment maybe a little bit too soon. I think Saquon's going to kill it. I think he's going to bring it as a leader, too. I think that locker room. Yeah, he is. Well, you said on Speak the other day. Let's get into this. You wish you played your entire career as an Eagle. I liked hearing that. I have some questions about it. And you kind of talked about the aftermath of the Chip Kelly trade, and you said leaving Philly is something that will haunt you the rest of your life. Do you think Saquon will look back at the Giants with the same kind of regret?
No, I don't think so. Because it was different. Like, he gave them every opportunity, to sign him. With me, it was kind of like there was no conversation about it. Me and the ex-coach, we didn't get along, and I had to move on. So, and also with Saquon, it's like, what success have the Giants had, right? Like, you just look at the team, like, did they help them out? Well, my Philly team, we got better and better and better. And then when I left, they even got better on the defensive side, which we really need help on. So it's just hard to look back on a team that wasn't really successful, even if he was the best player, compared to my situation where we had a real, like, dynasty team, right? I had Michael Vick as my quarterback. I had Deshaun Jackson as my number one receiver, right? All the guys you see in Philadelphia that was balling, from Brandon Graham to Fletcher to Fletcher Cox. All them guys, we were all together. Lane Johnson, we were all together, right? And we had a good thing going there. So I just, at my peak, I left, I was like third in rushing. You see what I'm saying? So I was on top of my game, where Saquon's kind of been up and down with injuries and et cetera with the team. But I just don't understand my case. That's why I think from being an Eagle, especially the all-time leading rusher, it's like it was hard to let that go.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon faced at the franchise, though, beloved by fans with the Giants.
Yes.
Like, he is leaving that behind. It's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see, like, what his role is if he has that as the same thing on the Philly squad. That, I mean, the Philly fans are super excited about him. I'm just going to call bullshit on. Yeah, but I'm going to call bullshit on you a little bit. Like, I was listening to you talk about like, oh, it'll haunt me. Like, if you, maybe it's just how I feel about you. If you don't leave the Eagles, do you have 2 Super Bowl rings? No, right? Like,
No. The Eagles won a championship when I left, like 2 years later.
yeah, but they couldn't. The reason they got better is because they traded you and saved a lot of money, Shady. Let's be honest. Get out of here.
No, because the defense was better, but the offense was like
they're not winning. They're not winning a Super Bowl with you because of money. Because you wanted and you got money, right? They had to trade you. They wouldn't be able to get that good.
Nah, we
You don't think so?
Nah.
We wouldn't have had the snow game in Buffalo. How could you try to rob? I'm trying to think of the world.
I love Buffalo, though. I love Buffalo.
Shady, this is what they're showing Canton for your Hall of Fame bid. This and that, obviously as a Philly, your game against Detroit, or against the Lions. But this, if I don't have this, I don't know if I can write the story of Shady or the NFL.
Listen, I love Buffalo. I had a great time there. A lot of my good friends is from there. I just think that, like, you gotta understand. So I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
I played ball at Pittsburgh for college, and then I went straight to the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm a Pennsylvania guy,
Yeah.
And I just feel like most times when guys leave teams, right, it's like they're declining, there are issues, right? I didn't have none of that. I was still at the high of my peak. I was third in rushing at the time, and then we had a good team, a good chemistry, So then you get rid of all the best players. Like, how do you let go of Deshaun Jackson? And then we cut him. We didn't even trade him.
Crazy.
We cut him. So.
LeSean, would you trade your 2 Super Bowl rings to stay an Eagle for your entire career?
Yeah. I don't lie though. Winning Super Bowl was something, because that's the thing. We might have got 2 or 3 in Philly though.
But that's might have, coulda, woulda, shoulda. No, you can't. We're talking straight up. The 2 Super Bowl rings that you had, and you can say what you have them. You get to say I'm a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and with your crazy career like that means something. You would trade that for you love Philly that much. I love that's your answer.
Yeah. I would trade for it.
That's amazing.
Because for one, we'd have got a championship for one, because they already did that.
Okay.
And then 2 was like, they drafted me. I was 20 years old. I was a kid, and I became a man. So I just think that, like, if you look at all a lot of great players, you don't see a lot of great players that stay on the same team that drafted them, right? A good friend of mine is Larry Fitzgerald. He's like an OG of mine, went to Pittsburgh. And we talk about how he played all his years with the Cardinals, like all the opportunities he got. He's an investor in the basketball team, the Suns, and with the Cardinals. Like, small things you don't even think about. I'd have played, and I could have got into GM work with Howie Roseman, right? We're still cool to this day.
You can
all
still
the
do
small
that.
things you're not thinking about.
You think that you're still doing GM work with Howie. I know you're hitting that send button every 3 seconds trying to get it done. All right, I want to get to some news here. The Cowboys, big decisions to make. I want you to rank these guys in terms of how important they are as with the Cowboys and locking them up long term. Most important to least important: Dak Prescott, CD, or Micah?
Okay. Now, before I answer this question, Micah is from Harrisburg. He's from my hometown.
Okay.
So I'm a little biased. So I would say Micah first, but if you're talking to me like a GM?
Yes.
Okay.
This is your GM. Howie audition. Go.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to say CeeDee Lamb first, because I've always been a CeeDee Lamb fan, right? A lot of people, they weren't. They weren't on the bandwagon early. I was. The kid's phenomenal. He's elite of the elites. He's a top 3, top 4, top 5 receiver for sure. He makes a difference in Dallas. I think Dak is a good quarterback, but I don't know how good he is without CD. And then I would pay Micah second. I think he's your best player on both sides of the ball, right? He's a fan favorite. Your team's not the same without Michael Parsons, for sure. And then the last person I would go is Dak. The reason I would say the last person, Dak, is because you would think he's the quarterback, he's the most important. But if you really look at his track record, he always does good in the regular season and doesn't do good in the postseason. And it's like the Cowboys are known for championships. And if I'm Jerry Jones, it's like I already did this thing before. I paid you, and I got the same results. Paid you, got the same results. So now a bigger contract, do I pay you and get the same results? So I will go CD, Micah, and then Dak.
What stops him in the postseason?
In my opinion, I don't think he's tough enough, right? Like when everybody's playing at the elite level, it's the playoffs, small margin for error. We need our best to be the best.
Wow.
Andy Reid always says this. He always says, like in big games, I need my best players to outperform their best players. And when Dak in the playoffs, he doesn't do that. He freezes up. I don't want to say it's lack of heart, but sometimes he just plays like he don't have that dog in it. Some players do, some players don't. He's one of them that doesn't.
I thought you might say coaching. I thought you might say it's the team, something else. But you're saying he's
even the coaching, because people like to say the coaching. But if you look at it, so the year before this year, Dak had an interception issue, right? McCarthy takes over the play calls. If you really watch it, in the beginning of the year, the play call was so conservative, right? Then he gained more confidence with Dak, and then he had an MVP type caliber year. So it's not the coaching. So we get in the playoffs. I mean, what's the difference?
I know it's not supposed to be all about quarterbacks, but I love talking quarterbacks with you, so let's keep it going. We saw, obviously, I don't even know why we're having a season. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, who you just mentioned, they're just going to waltz back and do it again.
Yes, they are.
I know. It's hard to, I watch you on Speak. You're not going to say that there's a contender even, which I love. But let's say we all know Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the National Football League. Who's number 2?
I would go Josh Allen. Josh Allen's phenomenal. Oof. Talented, competitor, arm strength, you name it, right? So when we talked about Dak, like not having that dog in him, Josh is the total opposite, right? And thank God, football gods, that he didn't go to the Cowboys because we have an issue in Philadelphia. So I would go number 2, Josh Allen.
Yeah, somebody was saying out there, some nameless face was saying he's overrated, which is crazy. We'll see what the list comes up with. Of course, people love lists. I want to ask you a little bit just about the Chiefs, and there's obviously so much excitement. The Kadarius Toney getting some love. Let's talk running back vibes here because he's taken reps at RB. You know Andy, you know the RB position better than anyone. Could he be a legit weapon out the backfield this year?
Yes. Listen, Andy Reid, not only is Andy Reid the best coach to ever put a whistle in his mouth and put a hat on, right? He's the best at like scheming plays up and getting players in open space and letting them have a chance to really show how good they really are. So we had times where we had Deshaun Jackson. He's probably like 175 pounds. He had him in the backfield as a running back sometimes. And Tyreek Hill's another one that in the backfield sometimes. So Andy Reid's going to find ways to get him on the field. He's an explosive player. Kadarius Toney's really, really good, right? He has some up and downs, but that's football. I think he'll be back. I think Andy will do a good job of getting him on the field and creating a space for him. Him and Pacheco in the backfield. He'll find a way. You'll see it. We'll be talking about it on a Monday, like how the hell did Andy Reid dice that up? So he'll do good.
You played Patrick Willis. I have him coming on later. What do you want to say to him? You played him 5 times. Look at that face.
Listen, I'm as confident as it gets, right? And he was really, 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 really good. Fast, strong, smart. Everything you want in a player and a linebacker, he was that. Now, I will say this part, though.
Oh, God.
We had battles. It wasn't just him beating on me. We beat on each other, though. But Pat was
I got Hamilton looking it up. I said, how many times did they face each other? He said 5. I'm gonna, like you said about Minshew and Trevor, I'm gonna look at the numbers between you and Patrick Willis. Say congratulations to him. Hall of Fame in a couple weeks. Insane.
He deserves it. Hey, Pat, congrats. I'm not surprised, though. I'm not. If it was me, I'd have got you Hall of Fame soon. You retired because you was that good. Patrick Willis, the GOAT, for sure.
You're the GOAT. Shady, you can see him, of course, on Speak, tossing papers, looking at Acho and calling him crazy the whole time. It's every weekday on FS1 and the podcast. New episodes dropping soon.
25-10. We on the way. Me and Deshaun Jackson.
You're the best, Shady.